Let's go, let's go, let's go. Here we are with another episode of Kicks and Kicking It. And man, I am beyond hype. I got the one and only PE all the way from Michigan, right?
That would be true.
Michigan here just to talk to us a little bit about some urban church planting, discipleship. But before we go there, it's called Kicks and Kicking. So we got to start with the kicks. I'm rocking my little low level Air Force One with a little bit of lime green on it, just a little simplicity. Sometimes I just want to be comfortable, laid back, still have a little hit of dopeness in it. You understand? What you rocking today?
Oh man, I got on these dunks. I went to church today, so these are my church shoes. You know
That's all right,
I went
man.
to church shoes, got the dunks with the chocolate on the joints and the blue jean on the side.
Man, I wish I was your shoe size because I would definitely rock those. Those are hype. Those are hype. But man, let's go ahead and jump right into what we are here for. Urban church planting is jumping off right now. Thank God for the organization Nitrogen and what Nitrogen is doing. But before we get into this, man, I want y'all to understand who I'm sitting with, who I'm talking with, man. Listen, he could do the ultimate flex. I think Tommy Nichols did it when we was talking about technology. He's like, yo, Google me. If you Google this guy, man, you were like, oh, really? And you would never know what he's all about because he just keep it on the low, but he's hitting on all level. But just a little bit who I'm talking about, the author of AI Prompts for Everyday People. The author of Doing the Most. Look at this. The author of Reimagine, Calling Occupation, Passion, and and Opportunities. The author of The Way of the Man. And listen, guys, in the urban church world, you have to document, you have to write, you got to put it on, ink. The 60-day book, the step-by-step guide of how to get your book, not just written, but published. I'm here right now. I'm about to drop some stuff I'm excited about. And I'm going through this right here. It doesn't look like it's super thick, but it is a wealth of knowledge to get you out there with the best authors. So this is who I'm sitting with. Share a little bit about what you got going on right now with Nitrogen, your own personal ministry, and just introduce yourself to the people.
What's up? My name is Troy Evans, and I get the opportunity to serve as the president of Nitrogen Urban Network, and we exist to equip leaders to do the work of urban ministry. We do our work in North Carolina, here specifically in Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? In the building, Michigan, and in Atlanta. So we've been around since 2008. Been all over the country in England doing church planting. So that's what we do.
Yeah, doing church planting in the urban content.
Yeah.
Explain. We try to dive into it a little bit because most of the time when you say urban church, immediately you just say, oh, it's a black church. But how would you define an urban church?
Yeah, so we typically go with urban. We have these 3 tiers, 3 prongs, and we say the urban would be density. So how many people in a square mile? So you know how it is in the hood, like it's just people, and
Right.
which is that. Diversity. So we know that urban communities have a tendency to be extremely diverse, whether it's class, whether it's ethnicity, whether it's culture. It's just a melting pot. And then disparity.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's where you can look at your reduced or free lunch programs,
Right.
to kind of see what percentage of students are on those. So that's how we define urban, at least the urban we're talking about.
And I love that because most of the time when we're dealing in this church world, in this church planting system, as soon as we hear urban, we just associate it to the color of the skin of the church planter. And the way that you break it down and you present it to the people, it really gives depth to it and some weight to it, man, which I just love.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you ever go to the grocery store and you're sitting there and you're there, and you just feel like somebody's looking, like you can feel something on your neck,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like somebody standing there, they're not saying excuse me.
Right.
And you're like, bro, all you gotta do is say excuse me, and I get out the way. That's what I feel like when it comes to mainstream denominations and churches. When it comes to urban, nobody really wants to put a name on it.
Right.
And you're just standing there like, I'm like, no, just say what it is.
Right.
So then we can quit shooting in the dark.
Right. Listen, I love it. I really, I'm blessed because being able to work with Nitrogen, being the North Carolina Charlotte Catalyst, it is blessing my soul.
Yeah.
You're so busy and you're running around left and right. It ran in on us Saturday when we was doing the huddle and didn't even recognize the huddle was going on.
I didn't even know what was going on. It was just like Anton's like, hey, you gotta won't you meet that? I'm like, oh, okay. And then I like, let's just get it. And it's just like, and it's an amazing thing to not have to be worried about it. I think what separates good leaders and great leaders is to be able to have people with you that rock with you, that you can just really like take your hands off, because just so you can do what you're good at.
That's right.
And then let cats do what they good at, and then we got a squad right there.
Listen, what I love about that is it's so consistent to what we're doing with the leaders.
Yeah.
We're trying to empower them to allow them to take their hands off of everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And so when you ran into the huddle, and
amazing.
we had 5 pastors just sitting around soaking up all this information of, man, what does it mean to duplicate as opposed to grow the church?
Yep.
What you're talking about is exactly what we're trying to get to these pastors. And it all goes around with a simple term that we've been talking about in the church world: discipleship. But even sitting in the huddle, I'm recognized that people say discipleship have no clue what discipleship is really all about.
Yeah.
So let's just go ahead and just jump right into it, man, and talk about discipleship.
Yeah, so we can start on any end of the spectrum. I'm a very simple person, so I just like to, just break things down like very simple. But it does have an ancient, as you well know, it's just an ancient, history. One, discipleship isn't, it's a common language back in the day. It was like you can be discipled and whatever.
That's right.
It could be in a trade, which they were discipled in the trade.
That's right. That's right.
And so it goes from a old school word Talmud, which is singular for the idea of being not just a student, but it goes beyond that and being an apprentice.
That's right. That's right.
And that is the idea that you resemble, and you're watching your rabbi, your teacher, your great teacher.
Right.
In fact, you're watching your rabbi and you're rocking with them, and you see how they live and you do it. So jumping forward, we just basically say, moving from knowing what Jesus knows to living how he lives.
Right.
And so we have the dust of our rabbi, Jesus, on us. You can smell him. You know what I'm saying? You can smell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So much so. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Because when I was doing the study on Tell Me, and what's crazy about it is that they didn't just study with them; they left their family.
Yeah, facts.
And they went on the road with their teacher, with their sensei. And like you said, so we in the dirt together, we cooking together, we hunting, we gathering food, we doing all this together, and they left what they knew to acquire a new understanding.
Yeah.
And so when I'm sitting down, we're talking with these pastors, all they can associate discipleship with is they mix it with just evangelism.
Okay.
So discipleship is so much more than evangelizing. So let's jump into that.
Yeah, it's holistic. So you think about the schooling that the ancient the rabbinical process. It was that we would go the first school of Bethsaida. They would learn what it means they would memorize the text. They would do that as kids. By the time when Jesus hit the scene, at 13 years old, he would have already been through the first
That's
phase
right.
of that schooling and entered to that second phase. Which is it moved right into, okay, now we need to be able to learn how to ask questions.
Right.
And so
Right.
even in scriptures where we see where there's a questioning and answering, questioning and answering, and our culture we think is rude.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they were learning how to really reconcile, how to really reason with each other by asking very difficult questions, or
Right.
say, how do you read that? And
Right.
that was happening. But here's the part that when Jesus was coming up to the cats and they were out fishing and doing their thing. The dope part is where they were like, hey, come follow me. I'm gonna make you fishers of men. And then the thing is that one, they probably would have been about 17 years old or so. And they out here, these teenagers, these young bucks, which we gotta, that's something to
That's
think
right.
about.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? These young bucks out here to come follow me. It was normal for them to be at a place where they were looking for their rabbi to follow.
Right.
So, the weird thing was that Jesus, instead of them looking for their rabbi, Jesus actually went to them. And I think that was resemble the way it is now, where we just basically surrendered to him. He's already done the hard work.
Man, that's insane. So tying this in down with urban church culture, the day and age, and I say it over and over again, you'll hear a million times on this podcast. Man, preaching is just like this. I'm not concerned about how you preach, if you're a teacher, if you're a lecturer. Preaching does not transform the lives like we really think it does. It's the discipleship where I'm pulling my leaders in close to me, and I'm breaking bread with them, and I'm spending time and pouring into them. That's what changes the lives of those that we are around. So in the urban church world, how do we change this mindset? How do we we can get into the ancient culture. We can give them the Hebrew and the Greek of what it's about. But how do we now change this wineskin?
Yeah.
And get it out of this old wineskin of, man, it's about me having a show and how my worship team is and how I preach. That's what's going to grow a church.
Yeah,
and get them into, no, man, do the first thing he required us to do.
Yeah.
Go be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah, man, all day. I feel like, we always got to go back and look at the ancient text, because it is like, why would we recreate the wheel?
Come on.
He said, go therefore and make disciples of all ethnos, or all nations. He said that wasn't the great suggestion. You feel me?
The great suggestion.
It was not the great suggestion. It was something that we are. This is when the Christian doesn't do that, then I don't know what you are, but you're not a Christian.
Ooh,
That's you can put that on Jesus.
now.
You can come see me too. My phone
Listen.
number is, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
The comments and the words that are expressed here are the thoughts and hearts of us. Yeah, say that
You know
again,
what I'm saying?
man.
You know what I mean? I just feel. What was the question? I forgot. I'm old.
No, I'm just saying. I'm like, so how do we change that?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I think we got to go back to be like, at the end of the day, we got to quit thinking that we dope like that. So the only reason why cats get up there and they think they're preaching is making that much of an emphasis on people because they think they're dope. The moment you start to recognize that I suck and God's awesome and I'm in desperate need of him, then maybe you might humble yourself. For just 2 seconds, you might realize that what you're saying, and they know the numbers.
Right.
Only 8% of what people are hearing from that stage. Great teachers that we know of, the 8% is what they're retaining. So what in the world do you think out of that 47 minutes that cats get preaching, you think that's going to transform anybody? You ain't dope like that, bro.
Right.
And I think it starts with that. Jesus didn't go that route.
Right.
He didn't go that route. He's 5,000 right here. Cool. Holler at y'all later. He went over here with 12, then he had 3. I'd say just go back to the ancient text, and you're always going to find the truth.
Right.
And everything else is going to lead you astray.
I remember in this huddle, I was sharing with the pastors. I was like, listen, we got to get out of this mindset of growing membership. Jesus didn't deal with members.
Yeah, I heard you say that.
He only rocked with disciples, and that's my mindset. Like in the church now, I'm like, listen, I have members and I have disciples, and the ones that I rock with and the ones that I spend time with, the ones that I give of my effort, my spiritual thing, are the disciples, because that's what Jesus did. Now Now the members, man, they may have got a little remnant here and there and glean a little bit here, but Jesus only really rocked with the disciples. And then even from the disciples, it was a smaller group that he even broke that down to.
Yeah,
So why are we obsessed with mega ministry instead of doing the discipleship model?
You accelerate what you celebrate. So I think our metrics are from a macro level. Just as just leave from a denominational level. It's like I think some of the you're reporting. So if you're telling cats the first thing dudes walking in the door, which I just can't stand it. Like, dude, yo, Doc, what you running? Like, man, I'm gonna smack you. Like, what you mean what I'm running? It's a problem. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, so if you keep pushing that, and then when you have to report, think about the things we have to report on. How many baptisms? What's your budget? How many butts in seat? Right. How many salvations? As if we're in control of that.
Right.
We're only responsible for the input.
Right.
We're not responsible for the increase according to Scripture. Only God is responsible for that. So why are we measuring that? So then we expect them like, oh, we want you to be concerned about discipleship. That ain't gonna happen until we change the metrics.
Yeah. That's big. I mean, because I think that goes across urban, suburban. It just goes across the whole thing, because you're flipping upside down the things that for so long the church world has deemed important.
Yeah.
Or we even deem to be the verifier of
success.
Being successful.
Yeah, man.
And that's just insane.
Yo, you from around the way, man. You know what's up. Like we go in a room with 5 cats. The fight about to break out. 3 of them running.
3 running.
You know what I'm saying? There was a statement made back in the day that 5 is live, right? And so it's just like, if I got 40 people in the room, I don't need all of you cats. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all gonna run anywhere. And so I think that idea, we have to, and I'm so glad you're doing what you're doing, just chisel away to say, man, let me show you what God can do with the remnant of people. If you got, I think the percentage is a better way to look at it. So if you got 200 people and you got 2%, 5% of your people that actually making disciples according to statistics. And then you got 40 people and you have 50% of your people making disciples.
That's major.
You telling me which one you'd rather have.
Give me the 50.
And that's what I think the problem is. And I think we gotta get these cats
I have a couple of churches now talking about, let me look at your discipleship process, and I'm like, we got this process, we have this manual, but I gotta be able to sit down and share with you, because the best way to put it, to your numbers, like for example, we have this young lady, she's on fire. Yep. She's just bought into this discipleship. So I love her number. So she went out and she invited 20.
Okay.
Out of the 20, 9 came. Out of the 9, 4 enrolled in class.
Let's get it.
What am I counting? I'm counting the 4.
Let's get it.
And so that's the metrics we got to start looking at.
Man, that's so good.
And begin to that's really flip this thing. And I know with your support, your help, your mentorship, and the strength of the Holy Spirit smiling upon us, man, we have an opportunity of really changing the culture, the mindset of urban church planting in the way that we will really begin to see healthy churches jumping off.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited about it.
Man, so I'm excited, man. Listen, we could talk about this all night, all day, all whatever, but man, I appreciate your time. But before you go, I always say this, man. I say, listen, I want to give an opportunity for you to brag on yourself, but I know how you are. I want you to give you an opportunity to brag on what God is doing in your life and where you are right now in life.
Man, I am happily married to one woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yes,
sir.
You
know what I'm saying?
Sir.
Know what it is.
Sir.
And just to my kids like me.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? I got 36-year-old son who is a beast with them hands. Two-time Golden Glove champ. I can walk and kick him on his face. You know, that is, to me, is gold. That my kids want to roll with me and go places with me. And I see that's what y'all got. And it's just it's hard to explain, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
The kids don't hate your guts. I think that for me, that's anything else, get up out of here.
Man, listen. See, that's health right there. That's real talk. And that's why I love you, man. And I thank God for our connection, what God is doing in this
Yeah,
season,
man,
in
I'm
this
so
time.
excited.
There's so much more that's on the horizon.
Can't even talk about it.
Can't
Man, I'm
even
walking
talk-
around here. I'm looking like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Walking like less than a year ago, walking around here. And then you're just like, man, we're going to be doing this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Casting compelling vision. And I'm just like, man, I'm so happy and godly proud, I guess, of what the Lord's doing here, man. It's insane. So, you know, I'm going to be bragging about it.
Man, it's nobody but God, man.
Yeah, man.
But yo, this is another session of Kicks and Kicking It. I'm thankful for P jumping in here.
Yeah.
Listen, it's been a long day. He said, "Hey man, we're gonna do this on podcast." I said, "Absolutely, let's make it happen." So man, I appreciate you. Appreciate what God is doing. Listen, we look forward to seeing you the next time. Stay up.
Let's get it.